all the rumors are true, yeah. What you heard, that's true, yeah. Had to cut them hoes loose, yeah. And they ain't no loose lips. Not a hoe trying to sue me, yeah. Bitch, I don't give two shits.
Welcome to our podcast. You're listening to Crash by Ixon at www.ixonmusic.com. Here we go. Bananas, Heather.
Bananas.
Something great about bananas.
My favorite food.
I got that.
Don't be a dummy. Don't be a dummy.
Okay. Welcome to Why Complain When You Can Whine, making sense of the senseless. Three professional women attempting to make sense of toxic nonsense while drinking wine. I am Dr. Jody Lorman, licensed clinical psychologist in the state of California, and anything and everything that we discuss on this podcast is purely for psychoeducation and entertainment purposes only.
I legit thought you were going to say anything and everything you say can and will be used against you.
Will be used against you, yes. So
in tonight's episode.
I was just going to, it's very fitting for tonight. I feel like we should have the Law and Order. Dun, 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 dun.
Totally.
Yeah.
We'll work that in.
Yeah. So I have my Apothic crush. I really like Apothic wine. So Apothic, if you're listening, I really like these wines. And I just have a very pretty purple hued tumbler today.
Nice.
I need more nasty saying wine glasses.
Right?
Yeah.
They get expensive though.
Yeah.
I think like our anniversary is coming up here in
Yes, it is.
So yeah, so we should get anniversary wine glasses for ourselves.
Oh my God,
September.
that's true.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's August. Anyways.
I know, right? Madness. Anyway, hi, I'm Heather. I'm a licensed counselor and a domestic violence survivor, and I'm drinking some High Noon again today. And this one's pineapple flavored, also very delicious, out of this amazing fucking bitch be gone Lysol spray tumbler that says, "Don't try me" spray, eliminates hose, crisp fuck off scent. And then it says, anytime that you feel that fuck around and find out feeling from a bitch, hoe, or thought, simply stand back and spray that bitch in face until they are gone. The crisp fuck off scent will linger long after that bitch be gone. Where to use? Bitch be gone can be used anywhere: home, office, cars, stores, and anywhere where you need a bitch to be gone. Works great for bitches, hoes, thoughts, Karens, sluts, wenches, skanks, dumbasses, pricks, dicks, assholes, scumbags, douche canoes, thunder cunts, twat waffles, shitheads, micromanaging bosses, lazy ass supervisors, annoying customers, petty exes, narcissists, and snobs.
Hello, everyone. I am Ashley Paige, single mom, domestic violence survivor, founder of Loving Single in the Hot Mess Society. Tonight, I am drinking Oliver Winery Cherry Moscato. Look how cute that label is.
Aw.
What's on the bottom of the cherry?
It's like a hot air
balloon?
balloon. My cat's here as well. Hi, Mew Mew. There she is. And I too have got the bitch be gone cup. Sorry, Jody. You can join in with us next week.
Yeah.
Fuck around and find out.
My
Maybe
shipping
active
said
ingredient.
it would be here today, and my shipping lied.
Damn it.
Fucking shipping. Sorry.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. At least I got the purple.
You have to read the active ingredients, Ashley.
Oh.
I didn't read the active ingredients.
Thanks for saving that for me.
I did.
The active ingredients in the bitch be gone spray is water, alcohol, definitely tonight, dash of no fucks given, side eye, shut the fuck up, pepper, eye rolls, YOLO number 6, no patience, acid 543, GTFO 420, and red number 30. Delicious.
Very unhealthy for you. This shit will make you go away.
Bitch, be gone.
Be gone.
Bitch be gone. Speaking of
Okay.
bitches.
So unless you've been living under a rock this past few days, Lizzo had a, no pun intended, hard fall from grace.
A little bit.
Allegedly, Dr. J.
Allegedly.
Well, no, she's had a fall because people are talking about, I was just reading something that said that was like a bunch of headlines about her fall from grace and how fast she has fallen and stuff like that. So even if it's allegedly that she did this, her reputation,
Mhm.
she can eventually build it back if everything is found to be untrue. But it's not easy to build back your reputation when it goes against, like, she is allegedly, it's body shaming is one of the things that she's that the lawsuit is about. So when you are a body positive person and you preach body positivity all the time, and if this is found, even, hopefully if it's not true, but then you still have that, like, oh, wow.
Right. That's her whole brand.
Mhm.
Her
Yeah.
whole entire brand is body positivity.
Well, and let's not forget, she's not the only one involved in the lawsuit. It's her production team
Choreographer too.
and the choreographer, if I'm correct. There's three people
Right.
Parties.
And then 3 people are bringing the lawsuit also, right?
Yeah. 3 of her former dancers accused her of creating a hostile, abusive work environment,
Not good.
amongst other things.
Yeah. That's not good. It sounds like a poorly run machine.
In a lawsuit filed Tuesday in a Los Angeles Superior Court, a group of 3 dancers claimed they were exposed to an overtly sexual atmosphere that permeated the workplace while on a concert tour with Lizzo. Dancers Ariana Davis, Noelle Rodriguez, and Crystal Williams alleged that Lizzo pressured them into participating in a severely uncomfortable nude photo shoot, forced them into a sexually charged and uncomfortable environment with nude performers at a nightclub in Amsterdam, and required them to undergo a brutal 12-hour audition to keep their jobs. The lawsuit also claims that the artist, who is known for promoting body positivity, made remarks to one dancer that were thinly veiled concerns about her weight gain.
Yeah.
I thought you were continuing to read.
Oh no, I was seeing if you guys had anything to add. Sorry.
Yeah. And it wasn't that Amsterdam trip where they had like someone they were like eating bananas out of women's coochies or something.
And she had a year ago or a few years ago talked about how she, on a podcast, how she really, really, really wanted to go to the club. She had been to Amsterdam, had gone to some sex shows, and really wanted to go to this club where they shot bananas out of their coochie, or them out of, is what she did. She goes, oh, so I can out of their coochies.
Ugh.
Although
Why
she
would
said
you
it
want to do that. Like, I mean, I understand being like open sexually and like wanting to try new things, but that's not the first thing that comes to mind. I'm sorry. Like, why are we eating bananas out of rotten coochie? Sorry, I'm assuming it's not very clean. That's what I mean, seriously, can you imagine the fucking BV going on in those vaginas that have fucking bananas in them? You're not supposed to put bananas in there. Like, what are you doing right now? Like,
Oh,
they probably
Lord.
don't smell like bananas. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Heather, oh my God.
I'm just saying, that's not the thing sexually that I would want to be doing, like, just for fun. That's not my jam, but
But yeah, this is like, one fan says, all the good that she's done, it will always be overshadowed by this.
that's what happens. That's Johnny Depp. even if it's not true, this kind of fucked her over.
And he's just starting to get back into
Mm-hmm.
movie society, I guess. And then there's the writers and the actors strike. So that's going to be put off for a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, I doubt this is totally made up. I don't know, like, if some of it's exaggerated, but like, for real, they don't have a sexual harassment video that they're required to watch at the beginning of their employment? Because like, that's kind of what this is. It's just like really poor management. It sounds like you're really not supposed to be mixing business with all of those things and not expect someone to be uncomfortable, offended, feeling like it's sexual harassment, right? And feeling like, oh, now I feel like I'm obligated to do things that I'm uncomfortable doing for the sake of keeping this job, right? Like that's in all the sexual harassment videos that big corporations are supposed to watch. Like, you're not supposed to be even speaking this way to your employees.
Except,
really.
I mean, yeah, that in a corporate setting, but here's the thing. I've been in the music industry. Like my father was a professional guitar player. I've been around musicians my entire life. My brother is a music producer. I've gone on tour. My ex was a professional percussionist. The shit that happens in the entertainment industry, whether it's in music or television, they don't abide by the same standards that is considered things like sexual misconduct and sexual harassment.
Right.
In the entertainment industry, it's not like that. I mean, what goes on backstage, like during rehearsals, during like warm-ups, like you're living with these people, and I'm not condoning this behavior, but this is like what happens on the daily in the music industry. I know, like, when I went on tour, I was around mostly men, and I was always being grabbed. I was always being sexually harassed. I was always being offered to sleep with these men. And like, that's a very real part. I think the thing that's, and I'm, like I said, it's not okay. I really commend the women for speaking up. And we always want to advocate for Believe survivors and Believe victims. But I think that this is going to lead to something even bigger, honestly, because this is something that happens. I don't think that anyone who's involved in the music industry, like with any band, could say that these things don't happen on the regular. These women were just brave enough and courageous enough to speak out, because even if you look at what's been happening on Instagram, other women coming forward and saying, I wish I would have been brave enough. I saw things that were happening. Like, you know, there's a lot of women that were kind of backing these three women for coming forward.
Yeah.
well,
Absolutely. Like, go ahead, Jody.
no, so go on.
Mm-mm. I was gonna say, I mean, this stuff does have, it's like, it's sort of known. It's sort of like, okay, this is what we sign up for in this industry, because it's just like that. It's just a hypersexualized kind of industry to be in. And at the same time, it's like, you're right. At some point, somebody's still going to be like, this is not comfortable for me. This isn't what I want to be doing. I want to be doing my job, going home, getting paid, living my life, and not have to feel pressured to do anything sexually or to be anything that I'm not. Like, the body shaming piece of it is really, like, for Lizzo, even if it's Hollywood, if it's like music industry and you're like expected to look a certain way, she hired big girls for a reason and then shamed them for gaining weight. Doesn't even make logical sense. Like, that doesn't even make sense to me.
No, I think that's the most disappointing part of it. Go ahead, Jody.
This one fan said she owes some of her 384,000 followers on TikTok to Lizzo after Lizzo duetted two of her videos about fat phobia in 2020. She said the allegations, which she described as disappointing, have opened other Black women up to hate and harassment on social media. Lizzo was acting as a stand-in for the entire community. And so when Lizzo falls, suddenly Black women, especially fat Black women everywhere, are just getting a lot of unnecessary hate, or they're getting caught up in all the fat phobia that came out of this. And it is really sad because they're saying that a lot of fat phobic, misogynistic assholes are now just feeling like liberated, like, ha ha, we were right this whole time. And so that's part of the whole, even if hopefully these allegations are unsubstantiated, it has already had an effect on a lot of people because of it. So a lot of heavy women now are getting attacked.
She fucked up the movement, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And even if, let's say that it was all, and this is all alleged, I'm not saying anybody did anything, but let's say that it was the other people and she was not involved in it. When you are at the top, you're involved because you need to know what is going on at every level underneath you. And if you're honestly thinking like, well, I didn't know that the choreographer fat shamed this person. It's like, but you should know, because there's also obviously a reason that these people did not feel that they can come to you and tell you.
Well, and the crazy thing is one, I like, although Lizzo is a very like one of the most well-known advocates for body positivity and even women's empowerment, like owning your individuality, like your authenticity. She's known for so many different things. The thing about it is she doesn't, oh God, I'm going to be careful. She doesn't own the movement though. She is a voice for the movement. And so like, I think a lot of people have to understand that like, although she has spoken out about these things, you know, she's not the only person that has paved the way for women who are larger or obese, or I hate the word fat. I've been called fat my whole fucking life, so I hate that word. But the other thing is too, is that, you know, like the things that I've read about the confrontation she had with one of the dancers, how they kept her in a room and searched through her phone and like,
Yeah,
she got
because she
really
took
aggressive.
a video. Is that the one that took a video because she had a condition with her eyes or something? So she wanted to take a video.
Well, she recorded it because I think she has, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. It was like anxiety or something like that. And so she would record conversations because it would help her when she replayed it to listen to everything that was going on so that she could actually like go back and like revisit it. And I totally understand that with the CPTSD I've had. Like sometimes it's better for me to re-listen to conversations when I'm not in my emotions. And so they held her in a room like and forced, like went through all of her stuff, went through her phone to ensure that the video itself was deleted.
Well, it said she recorded the meeting because she suffers from an eye condition that sometimes left her disoriented in stressful situations.
Yeah. And so like like there's that where, you know, other people corroborated her story, or they're like, she got really aggressive with her. And so, you know, like that's the thing though, is like, who knows what actually happened? But the reality is, even like with what Heather said, this is her brand. And like, I teach my clients this with my branding business is you are your brand. Everything you say and do represents your brand. And so what you do behind the scenes is even more important than what you're doing in the public eye, because once that shit comes to light, you're fucked. Not only are you fucked, but everyone that stands underneath the umbrella of your brand and your movement, they're fucked too. You know, even like Beyonce took her name out of the
song.
Yeah.
And that's what the attorney for the plaintiff said. She let down her brand.
Yeah.
And when your brand is supposed to be uplifting other people, that's a big responsibility, but you also chose that brand. You know, if my brand is to be a spokesperson to uplift and raise up voices and body positivity, you have to, and maybe this isn't fair. I think it is, but you have to be an example. You have to watch everything that you do, even behind closed doors. If your brand was sobriety, total sobriety, but yet behind closed doors, you're smoking marijuana or drinking alcohol, not a good look. So if your brand is body positivity and equality and on and on and on, you just have to watch yourself more in those areas.
Yeah.
You're held to a higher standard.
Yeah. Well, and money and fame and power really changes a lot of shit for people. And like, you know, we had this conversation when we did and we've had this conversation lately with me. Like, I'll just fucking point the arrow on myself. Like, we did that episode of like, help, I got myself into another toxic relationship. And like, we had like, the three of us had a very real conversation where I was like, you know, and even a situation that just recently happened where, you know, it was like, I can't be in a toxic relationship. I can't get myself into another trauma bond. I can't be with a man who has all of these red flags because I educate about this shit. Like I talk to women about this shit. Like I represent this shit. So I can't go against and live my life opposite and contradictory to the message that I preach and stand on. Like it's really fucking simple. Like, and I don't understand, honestly, like, unless Lizzo has deep internalized self-hatred and she just profits off of her weight, but she actually hates her fucking body.
I wonder that.
That's the only thing that I could come up with that would cause her to fat shame any other singular woman. I could even understand if she said, all right, dancers, I've intentionally hired dancers who are bigger because I want to represent this community of women and empowerment and show the world that like we can be bigger and still be like fit. Like fitness is not determined by our weight. So like where I don't want, like, you can't lose 50 pounds. Like I would even fucking get that shit. But like if a dancer is like dancing her ass off and like exercising, like God knows how many hours a day those women are dancing, and you're fucking bitching because a woman's put on weight. Who the fuck are you? Like, that's the brand, bitch.
I was trying to think about too. It's like, because the same thing, I wonder if she is like internally self-loathing and it's like, I can't diet, I can't do this. So fuck it. I'm going to just tell everybody that I love myself. And then maybe I will start loving myself. I'm not saying she does or doesn't, but I just wonder that as well. So instead of being able to lose weight or go and get surgery or whatever, because I've seen people that are so body positive and then a year later they've had gastric bypass surgery and they're small, their publicist had them lose all this weight and suddenly they're not the same person anymore. They're back into what everybody thinks Hollywood should be. So I just wonder if this is and I wish I could be self-confident and all that, but I wonder if it is if I can't do it, then I'm going to lift up myself and everybody else, but I'm not really lifting up everybody else because I don't want anybody to be at the same level that I am. So don't you dare get heavier. Don't you be as heavy as I am. Don't you get heavier. Don't look like I do. You still have a mold that you're supposed to fit in. Because I'm not really body positivity for everyone, but I'm body positivity for me.
I don't understand how you could think that. I don't get that. How you could be body positivity for yourself.
Right.
Like, unless you just hate the fact that you're overweight and you're just selling the brand because it's what makes you fucking money. And internally, because you really are fat phobic yourself. Like,
I wonder that often. I would talk to my son about that too. Not talk about it, but I'd say, I really wonder if she's really that looks in the mirror and says, yes. Or if she looks in the mirror and says, okay, yes.
Just like amp herself up for it.
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, she's, you know, I don't particularly like listen to her music really. There's like a couple of songs that I've liked, but it's not an easy industry to break into when you are bigger. And so perhaps it was like the only way to showcase what I actually give a fuck about, which is music, and be able to break into an industry is to pretend to say fuck off to all the haters and the fat phobic people and put myself out there as a representative for the body positivity movement, even though I don't necessarily believe in that. I have to believe in that so that I could be in the industry that I want to be in.
Yeah.
Which is
'Cause
fucking
this way,
sad.
this way, no one will say lose weight. Well, of course, there's always the fat phobic people that do say that, but no one will say lose weight, lose weight. What they'll say is, oh my God, we
They're like,
have a
"Yes,
representative. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
was a great thing. So it's a really big bummer that she fucked it up. Somebody
It's
fucked it up.
really disappointing. Yeah, it's very disappointing, especially just the whole fat shaming we just discussed. But fat shaming is like, well, you're a dancer and dancers are supposed to have a specific look. I'm bending the rules because I'm not fat phobic, I'm body positive, but I'm only bending them so much. Like you can be big but not big.
Which is a bunch of horse shit, because I have seen some big, beautiful women who dance better than these itty bitty tiny women.
Mhm.
Not only that, but like there's that piece. There's also her production company that they've called out for being racist, giving lesser treatment to the women of color. And her that production team is all white men. So
That I
like
did not know.
they're the third, that's the third, entity that's listed on the lawsuit. That they, those women were mistreated. They were told like to work harder. They were just not given the same treatment as the other women. And then I don't know if anyone else saw this today, but I did see a video on TikTok about a woman that came out because her boyfriend co-hosted a show with Lizzo several years ago, and he ended up leaving her for Lizzo. And she talks about how she met Lizzo when she was with her boyfriend at the time, and Lizzo was just awful to her. It was just very like rude and like standoffish and just like
I saw that.
Obnoxious to her. And then she came out with it and she was like, I didn't say anything at the time because Lizzo was coming up, and like, I just thought like people were going to think that I was a pick-me girl essentially, but it was like really hard on my mental health. And she goes, now that I see all this happening, I kind of feel vindicated because like everyone at the time loved her. She'd just gotten a Grammy, all of these things. And so I didn't want to like stir the waters. And now that this is happening, I'm just going to come out and say what's been going on with me. And like, it's not a good thing. Here's what I can say, like from my expertise as a brand specialist, it's not a good thing when controversy rises and all of these other voices that are female voices come against you. It's not good. Like if you had all these men coming against you, that's one thing, but like not but when it's women, the women that you say you empower, the women that you quote unquote stand for, the women that you quote unquote advocate for, they're coming forward and saying she treated me like shit. She was an absolute fucking bitch to me. She made me feel uncomfortable. She stole my man. This is gonna be a real hard. This is like she's in a pickle, man, because like I don't know how she's gonna get out of this one.
Mm-hmm. No, because a lot of like women have come forward and said she's been treating people like shit for a long time. Someone described her as like a narcissistic bully. I'm like, well, fuck, man. Like, and it's like they stayed quiet about it because of what she stood for in the like for everybody else out there, and they didn't want to ruin that for everybody. And so they're like, fuck it, I'm just going to be quiet because what her brand is doing is positive and we don't want to fucking ruin that. But these three people were like, no, sorry, this is abusive and it's not okay. And it's having an impact on people that work for her. And that's not cool.
And I know that in every truth, there's a little bit of, we don't know what to really believe. And in every lie, there's a little kernel of truth. So I'm sure that they each have their stories, and somewhere in between is the actual truth. And we only hear what the media tells us and stuff. But when you have a group of people, and that's a lot of the reason why women don't come forward, because when it's one woman, people are like, it's a woman scorned. It's just, come on, what happened? Sure. But when you have a group of women, there is strength in numbers. I hate to say that, but there is strength in numbers. And once somebody comes forward, it's easier for other people to say, I've been there. Why didn't you come forward? Because no one would have believed me if I was the only one to come forward. And at the time, I wasn't going to run around and ask people if they were going through the same thing.
Right, because that'd be weird. Yeah.
Cut my losses and left. But now that it's out there, shit happens. And I completely understand that. I've had something happen to me where I didn't say anything. I was 17. I didn't say anything. It was with someone who was a very well-known football player. If something came out after that, I would have said something. But to this day, I've never said anything. This man is now, God, I realize, fuck, he's old. And I was only 17. But like, damn, how old was he at the time? I think he was like 30 or something. I don't know. But if something came out, I would have said something. But to say something at the time, it's like, no, I'm 17. I'm the only one. And, plus someone like this dancer, it's like, I'm not going to come out so that everyone can now shame me for being fat and for being whatever and for going against Lizzo, and how dare I, and I'm ruining the movement. So it's not just coming out and saying something against someone, you're saying it to all her fans and everything too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and the sad thing is the call is coming from inside the house,
yeah,
which is one of the worst parts about this. And two, I think that the media and every misogynistic, I hate to bring this into it, but like, this is every misogynistic, narcissistic man, especially white men,
racist,
say that they're gonna love this because it's women against women. It's a good old fashioned cat fight. And like, that's what I fucking hate about this. Two, the other thing that I hate about this is, like, I already saw a story come out where her lawyers are already moving. They're already at work, and they, dug up this old video of one of the dancers, praising Lizzo. And here's the thing. All right. That people need to understand, because like, we've been at the center of controversy before, and like, all of us have. And like, the thing is like, especially when there's legal litigation involved, and also when you're working for someone that's that wealthy and that prominent and has that many fucking connections, these three women already knew. They thought well and hard about the risk that they were taking before they filed this lawsuit, before they hired the attorney. They all sat down together and they're like, we could really fucking go down for this shit. Like, we could ruin our reputations. We could ruin our chances at a career. Like, this is the shit that has to be considered, like, for these three women, is they knew that this is either gonna work out for us, or this is going to be really fucking bad, and we're never going to be able to work in the industry ever fucking again. This could ruin our reputations. This could hurt our families, the people that we love, because Lizzo is a multi-millionaire. She's like, knows all the people. Like, this could really be the end for these three women. Like, and so like, they knew that. They're not stupid. That's why so many other people didn't come forward with them, because of the risk that's associated with that. And these lawyers already came out with, and they're like, we have this video. Well, listen, if I'm working for a really famous celebrity and like, I just want to further my career, and like, I haven't spent enough time with them to actually get to see the dark side of them, you can bet your ass that I'm going to go on a video and be like, I'm working with her. Like, I'm having a great time. My dreams are coming true. I'm making all this money. I'm on this stage in front of millions of people. Like, of course she fucking made a video like that. Like, fuck,
Mhm.
of course she did.
Mhm.
Like, just the crazy shit about this.
The
this
lawyers
guy.
are gonna pull no punches. They're going to discredit these three as much as possible and pull
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff out and be like, look, this discredits them. This is hurting their credibility. Oh, they did this. Look, they look like they're having a grand old time eating bananas out of vaginas. Like, that's like,
But if you're going to do something like that, this is
Gonna be
another thing.
horrible.
If you're going to do something like that, they are going to go through your entire past with a fine tooth comb, even though it has absolutely nothing to do with it. They're going to look for shit on you. So you have to make sure your skeletons are out of the
It's gonna
closet.
be
because
really,
they
like,
will find them.
ugly.
Yeah. And so it's not an easy decision of, okay, let's go after Lizzo.
Mm-mm.
Because again, just like Ashley was saying, there's so much involved.
Mhm.
And when someone is a celebrity with a huge following and connections everywhere, if you don't do it in the right manner, you're fucked.
You're fucked, and you're gonna get humiliated in front of the
Mhm.
entire fucking world. They're going
Mhm.
to, like, we saw what happened with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Mhm.
Like, they're going to bring up fucking everything. They're gonna pull their old dance coaches, dance team
Mhm.
members. Hey, you want to make some money? Hey, you want to get in the spotlight? Hey, this is going to be a worldwide publicized like court case, like trial. Who knows if they're going to try and pay for a settlement? Like, who the fuck knows what's going to happen? But like, all I know is these women knew. They knew going into this what they were facing, and they were willing to take the chance. For me, as a survivor, I know that how hard it is to fucking come forward. I know, like, for most of us, especially when there's sexual harassment, sexual assault, like, and even if we have all the fucking proof, most of us don't want to fucking bring it into the public
Mhm.
eye
Mhm.
because of that shame.
Yep.
When my son was molested, my son was 8 years old. The attorneys told me during the suit, during the criminal and everything, they said, go through your Facebook, go through anything that you have and make sure there's no pictures that the defense can use against you. And I'm like, against an 8-year-old who was molested? And they said, it's not right. It's not good. And they went through all of my stuff, my attorneys, and said, you're fine. Everything's good. Cause I'm like, what the fuck could I possibly have? But that's what they do. They were trying to discredit an 8-year-old that was molested by a 30-year-old, you
Mhm.
know? So they're going to try to discredit these women, and these women, even if they are successful, they're going to have a hard time being hired again. Because if I know that you fucking sued a major celebrity and I'm not as major as that celebrity, or maybe I have even more than that celebrity, I don't know that I would necessarily want you on my team. So they may not get hired for a long time. Even if they're successful, they may have lost.
Can we talk about Lizzo's response to all this too? Like the whole, there's a section of hers, obviously she's denying everything, but there was a section to her response that I wanted to read really quick because part of it I'm just kind of bothers me, but I want to see what you guys think. I am not here to be looked at as a victim, but I also know that I am not the villain that people and the media have portrayed me to be these last few days. I am very open with my sexuality and expressing myself, but I cannot accept or allow people to use that openness to make me out to be something I am not. There's nothing I take more seriously than the respect we deserve as women in the world. I know what it feels to be body shamed on a daily basis, and I would absolutely never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight.
My impression of that is two things. One is your attorneys are telling you what you can and cannot say. For one. So you're very
contrived.
Yeah, it's hard, but
Mhm.
also it sounds very me.
Mhm.
And there's no acknowledgement of I'm really, I don't know how to say it that the attorneys would allow you, but I'm really sorry that that they're saying that this happened to them. I'm sorry if they went through it. This has got to be taken care of immediately. This is not okay. Something, but not, I am not the villain and I don't want to be looked at as a victim. I don't think anybody right now, honestly, is looking at her as a victim.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
there's
her
another-
super fans. Her super
Yeah.
fans are.
They're
Yeah.
pretty split though right now, her fans. A
Yeah.
lot of them are let down.
There's another part to that I don't have up right now that was like, I'm gonna choose to like basically ignore this. And she says something like, whatever they're going through is on them. Like the message was, whatever they're going through, I'm sorry for whatever those people are going through, but that's not me. It's all a lie. And I also was like, she just dusted over the sex stuff too. Like, I'm very open with my sexuality, expressing myself, but I cannot accept or allow people to use that openness to make me out to be something I'm not. And then she goes right into the body shaming section. Like, it's very contrived. Like Jody said, like a fucking lawyer wrote this for her and told her to post it. I'm hurt, but I will not let the good work I've done in this world be overshadowed by this. I want to thank everyone who's reached out in support to lift me up during this difficult time. So I'm not a victim, but I'm definitely portraying myself as a victim.
I mean, I don't know why an attorney wouldn't let you say something like, instead of saying, I won't let this, be overshadowed, all the good that I've done be overshadowed by this, but something to the effect of, hopefully the truth will come out and it won't overshadow the word. I don't know, something that sounds less like, oh, poor me.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are a fucking victim.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't want to be a victim, but I'm also the victim.
Yeah. Don't think of me as a victim, you guys. Don't think of me as a victim. I'm not the villain, but don't think of me as the victim. To me, it's just like it says, the dismissive comments and utter lack of empathy are quite telling about her character and only serve to minimize the trauma she has caused the plaintiff and other employees who have now come forward sharing their own negative experiences. But even her lawyers should have because that's what people like, is empathy and remorse and compassion, and
You
not
shouldn't ask the lawyers for that then.
And I actually have her apology, so I can screen share it if you want for our
Yeah.
YouTube audience. Let me pull it up because there are some very key words that she's using that are very telling to someone like me, someone like the two of you, that really kind of like gives us like a very clear perspective on what is going on and like the intentions, at least like when I've dealt with like narcissistic, toxic people. So like her first one just says, these last few days have been gut-wrenchingly difficult and overwhelmingly disappointing. Like, whatever. My work ethic, morals, and respectfulness have been questioned. My character has been criticized. Usually, I choose not to respond to false allegations, but these are as unbelievable as they sound and too outrageous to not be addressed. That last sentence right there is something not only to, and like there's a formula in PR that when you are in the public eye and there's allegations that are brought against you and there's a scandal, there's a formula. The first step is taking accountability. Nowhere in here is she taking accountability. She's blame shifting, she's dismissing, and she's minimizing, while also like magnifying the impact on her, but not her fans, not the community, not the movement. She's highlighting how this is affecting her, which I have a serious fucking problem with when you're standing in a position of leadership. One. Then she says these sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. Now, here's my question with that. The word sensationalized stories. Okay. So she's saying they've blown them out of proportion. They're coming from former employees, which automatically she's trying to discredit them, who have already publicly admitted. So she's saying like she's trying to give social proof to herself that they were told accountability, that their behavior on tour is inappropriate and unprofessional. Question: if their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional, yet we have you on a podcast talking about how you want to go to Amsterdam and eat bananas that are coming out of coochies and assholes. I'm sorry. So what you're saying is that this behavior was inappropriate and unprofessional for them, but it's not for you.
Right.
Just asking for a friend.
Right.
This reeks to me, that last paragraph reeks of they're just scorned women.
Yep, women scorned. Women scorned.
And then Heather, did you read this part as an artist?
No.
As an artist, I've always been very passionate about what I do. I take my music and my performances seriously because at the end of the day, I only want to put out the best art that represents me and my fans. Which I find that interesting because even grammatically, the me and my fans, she lets people know that it's her first, her fans second. With passion comes hard work and high standards. Sometimes I have to make hard decisions, but it's never my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of the team. I have a lot to pick apart with the verbiage because I'm a wordsmith. Like, with passion comes hard work and high standards. Like, so anyone who's passionate, there's required hard work and high standards. Or like, but there's no mention of the movement here. This is just all about her. This is me.
And this is kind of, in a way, in my view, you're kind of admitting it by saying with passion comes hard work and high standards. Like, fuck those guys. They couldn't cut it. And now they're mad at me.
Yeah.
Because they're scorned. They're scorned.
As an artist, I've always been very passionate about it. What I do, I take my music and my performances seriously because
that's me. I already read that one.
Yeah. Here's my problem with this shit. She's not talking about leadership, number one. She's not mentioned her actual team. She's not mentioned her fans. She's not mentioned how this is not how this is hurting everyone as a whole. This is only Lizzo. My, me. Not any, like, she is so grandiose and so entitled that she doesn't even, like, she's almost deifying herself because this is all about Lizzo. This isn't about the people who are involved.
Right.
Or how they're affected. It's fucking bullshit, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is bullshit. She's not answering to anything at all.
Yeah,
This one you
read
didn't
that.
read. Whoop.
I thought Heather read that one.
Yep, I read those last two.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then she says at the end, I'm hurt, but I will not let the good work I've done in the world. I'm sorry. Fuck you, bitch. Like, do you not understand, Lizzo? You're one fucking person. Like, do you know how many people are behind the fucking scenes on her shows? How many people are building the choreography? How many people are running the lights, the music, the sound, the tickets, the merchandise? All the hard work you've put into this shit, bitch, of building your fucking brand. No, there's an entire fucking community of people that have built your fucking brand, not to mention the fans that have actually supported you financially, globally, in order to help you on this mission that now we see as the mission is fucking Lizzo. Not body positivity, not women empowerment. Fuck that, man.
This comment that says, sorry, but this is an awful statement to put out. It's diminishing for the victim's claims while also putting the blame to the victim. Excuse me, shifting the blames to the victim. No owning, no explaining, and no good promises. This is just smokes and mirrors, empty and hollow. I'm just beyond disappointed.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's so this to me, even if I thought I really love her, I want this to be false. I don't want this to be true. After reading her statement, I just feel so gross. I feel like, wow, I'm not saying she's a narcissist at all, but this is NPD behavior. This is, if I did this, it's because they're horrible, horrible employees. And I had to make a decision. And sometimes the decision's hard, but I have high standards and they just weren't good enough. They made
Look
me
at this
do it.
comment.
Yeah, this is the one I want to talk about.
Oh, you want a red flag one? I want the one underneath that.
That one's good too, but that is a good comment too.
That one, I believe the victims, but it's interesting that no one has ever come as hard for a white man as the media is coming for Lizzo right now.
Well, that that says a lot.
But like, here's the thing though, is like we mentioned this. The media is ran by who? White straight men.
Mhm.
Okay. So the fact they're going to love that we have a woman who's Black and is overweight. They have every reason in the world, according to those stupid fucks, to come after her and publicly shame her and bring her down.
Yep.
Which ironically are the same types of men that are leading her production company.
Yep.
And probably her lawyers.
And her, like, I mean, I don't know, but like,
I don't know either. But
that's why I hate this shit so much right now. Like I said, the call should never come from inside the house. We shouldn't have the advocate be the one that's, you know.
it is. And then that advocate also turning around and victim blaming.
That's the shit I can't, man. Like,
that's what disgusts me the most is the victim blaming. You know, when you go back to a couple of things ago where she just says, she goes, sometimes I have hard decisions to make, you know? And
sorry, they were unprofessional.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, we all know this. The moment you say a statement and then you follow the statement with but
yeah,
the entire previous statement's canceled out.
Yep.
Like you
I'm not here to be looked at as a victim, but I'm here to be looked at as a victim. Yep.
I also know that I'm not the villain. Now here's the thing. Like, my primary issue, and it looks like in these comment sections everyone else's issue, this was only about Lizzo. You know, she and listen, if she weren't guilty at all, not only would she had taken ownership of herself, she would have taken ownership of the two other entities that are being named in the lawsuit, the choreographer and the production team. She didn't take ownership or leadership for either one of those. She only spoke on behalf of herself. She didn't speak for her fans. She didn't speak for the women that are coming. She didn't have anything positive to say about them. She only tore them down and publicly shamed them. And like this red flag comment, and then we can hop off, is number one red flag. Multiple people came forward with sexual harassment, assault allegations. Number two, director quits documentary due to extreme disrespect, calling Lizzo arrogant and self-centered. Number three, has a history of bad behaviors such as stealing lyrics and publicly threatening food delivery people. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Number four, Lizzo flashed her bare ass at a basketball game with children present. 5, Chris Brown, the abuser, is her favorite person. Fucking crap.
I did not know that either.
We could do a whole fucking podcast about the shit Chris Brown has been going up until last year.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway, wow. Ew. I didn't know any of these little things.
No, me neither.
Listen, I had that man I was dating for several weeks, most recently, he sent me a Chris Brown song last week. And I was like, motherfucker, what the hell are you doing sending me Chris Brown to a known DV survivor and advocate? Are you stupid? I mean, I didn't say that like that, but I was like, what the fuck you sending me him for? Like,
Yeah.
Her favorite person. 6 claims to not want to be a victim, yet this post points finger at everyone else and attempts to make herself look like, that's right, a victim.
Go back to the one right before this, though. The statement right before this. That oh no, you're right there. That they're former employees who have already public admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate, unprofessional. But then she goes on that she doesn't body shame and she doesn't do all that. So, and blames the victims. It's just that paragraph right there kind of negates anything, like the whole rest of her statement before and after. Because that if their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional, then why are they talking about being fat shamed? Why are they talking about their phone being locked in a room and their phone going through and all that? It would be if their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional, you should be able to say they were written up, they were let go, something that kind of addresses, basically, I'm sorry that they feel that they were treated unfairly, but they had been given write-ups, they had been given chances to improve their behavior, anything. But this was just like, well, they said that they were told their behavior was bad. Yeah, their behavior, they were told by fat shaming, right, by being locked in a room and your phone gone through, by having to crap your pants because you're afraid of going to the bathroom during a 12-hour audition. Like,
the fuck. Really?
Like,
yeah. Oh, you didn't see that part?
Oh, I missed that fucking part.
Yeah.
Ew, man.
I'll tell you that one.
I mean, we're not gonna call anyone a narcissist. We're not gonna diagnose anybody. We should though, because that's like she's screaming narcissist. Yeah, those 6 red flags.
Let's see.
That's enough red flags for me. Where's my song? Where's my song that I have of hers downloaded? I'm undownloading the one fucking song of yours that I like, Lizzo. Done with you.
Dude, I have like 3 articles, and of course it's going to be the last one that I look at, that I was just reading, that the girl was saying that if they don't do well, they have to like re-audition, and they're put through a grueling 12-hour audition. And she was so afraid to stop, to ask to stop to go to the bathroom, that she crapped herself.
I think she peed herself is what I heard.
I'm not sure. I got to find it, but she also got in trouble for that.
Horrible.
She got in trouble for that too.
Which, by the way, just so we're all clear, that's abusive.
Now I gotta find it. It's gonna bug me if I don't find what it was, but oh well.
Yeah. It's gonna be her lawyers are gonna be ruthless. It's gonna be awful. And yes, they consulted with their attorneys, and their attorney said this is gonna suck, and they're like, we gotta do it. So here we go. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this unfolds.
Yeah, well, and I mean, we know how we've been involved in lots of cases, and we know that before you take something to a courthouse, there's many drafts that are written, and there's a lot of litigation. There is a lot of discovery that takes place with your lawyers to determine, especially lawyers. They're like, they're going to get paid regardless, but these lawyers, they're going to be like, lawyers don't want to sign up for something they're knowingly going to lose, especially if they're prominent, well-known lawyers. Like, their reputation is on the line as well, and they don't want to look like clowns. And so like there's a lot of behind the scenes discovery that's been happening. There's a lot of information that's not been brought to the press or to the public eye that these attorneys and these 3 women have access to and have brought forth. And so I would say, with the simple fact that like they've brought this stuff into the public eye and they've already filed the lawsuit, that they very likely have plenty of legs to stand on.
Mhm.
She did wet herself. You're right. She went to the bathroom that she wet herself during the rehearsal. But it is
Horrible.
true. They sit there and discuss maybe 50 things that happened, but there's only so many that they could really, really, really prove. So I bet you that there are more things that didn't make the lawsuit because we don't know that we could prove that. So
Mhm.
let's just put in there what we think we will not throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. But we don't want to do that. We want to do what we know will stick. Because with somebody, if it wasn't someone high profile, high powered, they can put in a whole bunch of shit because the person probably doesn't have the money like Lizzo does. But because they know this is not going to be, I mean, we all know the one with the money has a lot of power in these things.
Yep, even when they're wrong.
Wrong. Yep. Even when they're wrong. So on that note, ladies,
All right.
it is.
Show.
It is time. So, I mean, I really, really wish and hope that these things weren't true. They're just
They're true.
allegedly, but yeah, I think it's not going to look good for it's not going to look good for her.
Mhm. No,
It'll take her a long
I'm done with
time
her.
to get
I mean,
God.
we could have had an entire other podcast about, in the event Lizzo is innocent, how, you know, these
Goes
types of
back.
smear campaigns and these types of like allegations are brought against a person who's perfectly innocent. But when you have all of these voices rising up, I mean, I've had my own scandals before, and where were all the voices? Few and far between. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and so like when you have all these voices coming up and being like, yes,
Mhm.
I think moral of the story is if you are a fucking brand ambassador, whether you created that brand or were thrust into that brand, regardless, if that is your brand that you are now living by, you truly need to live by that brand morning, noon, and night, behind closed doors and in front of everybody. Because otherwise, it's hypocrisy. And
Somebody's gonna find out.
yeah, in this day and age of everybody, the first thing they do is take out a camera on their phone, even before fucking dialing 911 half the time. Someone's gonna find out.
mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, especially with women talk.
which is exactly why I made this podcast about wine and not against wine, so that we can drink wine and our brand is alcohol.
Why no one can come and say like you're a lush.
Yeah, like that person who said you guys are getting buzzed in our first or second podcast. It's like, that's what it is. We say it in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, click the little bell in the corner of the YouTube. It will tell you every time we drop a new episode. Thank you for everybody who subscribes on every other platform too. I really didn't look, but I looked today and appreciate everybody. I forget that people also can subscribe on those. So on Apple, iHeart, Google, Amazon, Apple, Audible, and Spotify. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate all of you. And like, subscribe, share, comment, wcwycw1@gmail.com and lovingsingle.co/podcast. Comments, suggestions, topics, wines, bitch begons. Mine is coming next week. It's not a bitch begon though, so you guys got to watch the next episode to see what it is.
All right.
Anything, ladies?
Have a great night.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.